Yo, what is up, guys? And we are back for another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. And in case you guys forgot, remember that there are a couple of things coming up in the next couple of days here over on Global Dokkan. I know the hype is all Legends right now with Blue Gogeta and Full Power Broly. Of course, if you play Legends, needless to say, it's pretty hype over there. There's really no content over there, but the banners are hype nonetheless. Anyway, let's continue. So a couple of things. So the Tanabata banner is coming. Now this, I mean, it's all but confirmed, right? I mean, it happens every single year. I can't find it anywhere in the news. So if it is somewhere in the news, I straight up cannot find it. But remember that we will be getting a Tanabata banner. And it's going to have the blue fusions on it, and it's going to have LR Gohan and Goten, and it will also have the LR Blue Goku and Blue Vegeta. So obviously not this banner, but it's going to have these guys on it, right? And then it's also going to have a bunch of other featured Dokkan Fest units. So a lot of like monotype leaders, a lot of the early category leaders and stuff. Who knows? I mean, they could very well. There's going to be some good stuff on there. So if we look at like the mono leaders are now getting all of their EZAs, at least over on JP, we have 2 of them over here on Global. I believe they only have 1 more than us. I think Int Kid Buu would be the next one up on the docket for Global. So just remember that they are all getting their EZAs. So like a unit like, for instance, Super 17, unless you're summoning on those EZA banners, which is not usually a good idea, or even Tech SS3 Broly, like, they're not on too many banners, you know what I mean? So, Int Kid Buu, like, a lot of these units aren't on banners, so might be a good idea to drop a multi or 2 on that banner. Probably wouldn't go too ham, and just remember that there are 4 featured Dokkan Fest LRs on that banner, but that is not really the crux of this video. Oh yeah, also Super Battle Road. So this is obviously coming here in the next couple of days as well. It looks like it is dropping tonight, so, well, technically, tomorrow night for me, so 12/24, Christmas Eve. Super Battle Road will be dropping the 10 new stages. If you guys need any help on team building, I actually dropped a video, I believe yesterday, going over all 10 stages. I actually went back through and time-stamped it if you guys are looking for one stage in particular that you need help on. Anyway, the real crux of this video, let's keep going down here, right here. So the Extreme Challenge Campaign. So, we are going to have the opportunity, in celebration of the 2000th day of Global Dokkan, we are going to have the opportunity to EZA Prime Battle Goku, the original LR, right? So the original LR Goku. Remember that this guy, when he came out, he basically, he was the best unit in the game. He was the best leader in the game. And, obviously he was an LR. He was incredibly difficult to get. You basically had to run a bunch of Super Strike units, and if you guys are not familiar with Super Strike units, hey, guess what? They ain't that good, right? The conventional, quote, free-to-play unit, just dropping from story events, they were very few and far between, so Super Strikes were where it was at. They had that SA-15, so they were, going to be your best bet in there, but now it's much, much easier to get this guy for sure. Let me know if you are an OG in the comments below, or just let me know when you started playing Dokkan, because, it's very possible that you guys don't have this guy done. I mean, I do get it. So it takes, the big one, right, is 777 medals to Dokkan Awaken him from TUR to LR. But in the meantime, you have to farm up, what, 14 copies to open up his dupe paths, and then, of course, get his SA. Unless you're dumb and use Elder Kais, right? So you have to do that, and then you have to farm up then 15 medals to get him up to TUR status, and then 777. And then if you are an absolute nut job, you can do the grind twice, and then of course get him up to SA20 for free. So he's not exactly easy to get, but honestly, you get his stage is so old now, they actually have bonus drops, so it's not really that bad to farm. You could easily farm it, if you grinded, you could easily farm it in I don't know, a week's time or less. It's really not too bad. So, but this guy is absolutely crazy just a free-to-play unit. I mean, he's a unit that's going to be I think he's 4 years old. We'll go over it here in a minute. I want to go over what you're actually working for. But I kind of just wanted to remind you guys that this is coming up. So quickly, what I want to do is let's go over the unit that we are working for, and then we're going to go over the team that you need to run. All right, so here's our boy, Everlasting Legend, Prime Battle Goku, right? So this is the mobile view, and if we look here, yeah, he released on global November 18th of 2016, so yeah, he is 4 years old. Pretty crazy, 4 years old and a little bit. So if we keep scrolling down, he gets just incredibly better, right? So this leader skill is all types Key 3 attack 3000. That was STR Gogeta's leader skill, if you guys will remember. I mean, that's a very, very long time ago. So he was, what, the 1-year anniversary unit. And this guy came out pretty soon after the 1-year anniversary. This game came out in 2015. So a little bit after the 1-year anniversary, this guy came out, and he was freaking free to play, man. So that was pretty good, right? But anyway, we don't need to worry about that now. What we want to do now is worry about this right here. So his extreme leader skill and super attack and passive, right? So his leader skill, super class Key 4 and then 90% to stats, or extreme class Key 3 and 70% to stats. Honestly, I mean, that's solid, I guess, but you're not really using him for his leader skill. You could potentially use it, like if you were... Like, if you want, you could do one of those things where, like, if you die against Jiren, or I guess in the new version of Battlefield, it's going to be Frieza, Golden Frieza. If you die against him, you could have this guy as, like, a backup leader or something. But overall, that's not an overly useful leader skill. But his 12-key super attack is the Super Kamehameha, and that is going to greatly raise attack and defense for 1 turn and cause colossal damage to the enemy. So obviously a great raise, a 50% raise to attack and defense is really solid. And then he's going to cause, on his 18-key, the Super Spirit Bomb, he's going to cause mega colossal damage, raise allies' attack by 30% and chance of performing a critical hit by 10%. That is really, really good. So after this guy gets his 18-key super, not only does he give the whole rotation an attack buff, including himself, right? So if he gets that additional super, he's providing it to himself too. So he also raises everyone's chance to perform a critical hit by 10%. That is so very strong, a really, really strong ability on that super attack, that 18 key in particular, right? But the 12 key, I mean, certainly good in its own right. The passive skill is Crucial Battle. Attack and defense 59%. Surprise, surprise, that 5 plus 9, right? Key 3, so he just straight up has Key 3 to himself, plus an additional defense plus 59% as the first attacker in a turn, plus an additional attack plus 59% when performing an Ultra Super attack. So just to kind of take a step back, let's break that down. So he's giving himself 3 key and 59% as the first attacker in the turn. So ultimately, you are going to want to do a couple of things. Run him in the first slot and make sure he gets that Ultra Super if you can. You should be able to, right? Because of this last part of his passive. All allies Key 3 when attacking extreme class enemies. So assuming you are attacking an extreme class enemy, he's going to be giving himself 6 key, and he's going to be giving all of his allies Key 3. So that is really good, dude. I mean, that you're talking about support to some of these teams that desperately need it in Goku's family, Kamehameha, Final Trump card. Like, he becomes like a really, really hard hitter with that additional, you know, separately calculated 59%, and he's giving 3 key, right? So he's kind of like a pseudo support unit. So like Kamehameha, who basically they don't have any support units, you know, none specific to the category. Except for Max Power Jackie Chun, who probably like less than 1% of the, you know, player base has or something like that. So he's really good, dude. Now, the one thing that he does kind of suffer from is this 6 link deal. But at the very least, he does have a busted link in the first Awaken. So attack 25%, defense 10%. And then the rest of his links, Golden Warrior, Super Saiyan Kamehameha, of course, First Awaken, Family Ties, and Legendary Power. So all of these links are pretty good in their own right, you know, maybe minus Golden Warrior, right? Not that useful, but at the very least, it's going to be common. You know, that is something that's at least good, right? So, and then if we scroll down, I mean, his stats don't change. We just know he gets that extra 5 on his super attack, and then there's really not much else. So his additional attack plus 59% is calculated separately, as I said, for a total boost of attack 152.81% when performing an Ultra Super. You tack that onto a 20,000 500 attack stat, dude, that's really good. That's really strong. So what I want to do now is go over the team that you absolutely have to run. There's no other options, right? It's very, very limited. But the team that you absolutely have to run on this EZA. And it is an Extreme Z area, by the way. All right, so here is the team that we will be running. Again, really no leeway here, right? This is it. And if you will notice, everyone has the rainbow star on them. That is also a necessary item to this EZA. So the best leader for this team is going to be this AGL Cooler. Now, this AGL Cooler, you can see he's an all-types leader. He infinitely stacks, and he also lowers defense, and he's honestly just really solid. So when there's a Goku's family enemy, he's going to be super effective against all types, which, I mean, obviously he would have type disadvantage in here. But now, since we're up against a Goku's family enemy, he's going to be super effective against all types. And then he's also going to have an additional attack that has a medium chance of becoming a super attack. So he's not a big bad bosses unit, unfortunately. And obviously he gets completely just, you know, completely overshadowed by STR Cooler. He's not going to be overly useful if you have STR Cooler, but again, we're using him for this event, right? And do not worry about the orbs, guys. Honestly, like, don't worry about the orbs. Like, obviously, if you don't have enough orbs to get it done, then that's another story. But you will replenish these orbs. This Super Saiyan Goku, this Prime Battle Goku, is going to be completely worth it. Now, this is something I do want to point out. So let's just move on, right? You guys can see here, my super attack for some of these guys is not maxed out yet. I do plan on amending that. I just, you know, I've had a lot of things going on, right? So I do need to make sure that they are up there, but you don't have to have them at SA15. SA10 will suffice. Just enough to rainbow them. They have to be rainbowed, right? So this guy, key 3 attack and defense 100%. He gets attack and defense by up to 30%, and the more HP, the more of a stats boost he is going to get. And then he's going to get an additional attack and defense 30% when facing 2 or more enemies. And he recovers 30% HP. He's honestly a pretty solid unit. I wouldn't call him spectacular by any means. But he is a big bad bosses unit. So we all know about big bad bosses at this point, right? Link level 10, an unconditional attack and defense 25%. Not bad, right? Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Right here. This guy here, let's just keep going. This Zamasu Goku. Now, he dropped during the 5-year anniversary, if you guys will remember. He first dropped as this guy, and they thought they were doing like a bait and switch or something, and they like saved it for part 2, and then he got his EZA through the Extreme Z area in part 3. So anyway, so let's go over the card real quick. So he's actually a really solid leader, by the way, for time travelers, free to play. But he's going to lower attack and defense. I don't know if Goku can have his attack and defense lowered. I would wager he can. In an Extreme Z area, I believe they can. In a traditional EZA, they cannot. But attack and defense, 59%. He's got a really awesome key mechanic. He gets key 1 with each attack received up to 6, which is really good. Launches an additional attack that has a medium chance of becoming a super when facing 2 or more enemies, plus an additional attack and defense 20% with each final blow delivered. Now, the only problem is the last 2 parts of his passive are not really going to be relevant in here, because we're only up against 1 enemy, and if he were to get the finishing blow, that, you know, it's just like, that's it, you know, the game over, right? Like, we got the W. So really good, right? He's still good, and he's got those really high LR stats, which is good. Now, this guy, I have sang this guy's praises up and down, right? He is really, really strong. So he infinitely stacks attack and lowers attack on his super. That's really good. He's got a double effect on his super. So he's going to guard, and he's going to give all allies key 2 attack and defense 20% when there's a Goku's family category enemy, which of course we are up against Prime Battle Goku in here, so we will get that. I mean, he would have guard active anyway, right, because we have type advantage, but still, now he becomes a support unit. So the thing about it is when he has his guard active, he's reducing damage by 50%, so that's pretty good. I mean, we don't really need to go through his links. He, unfortunately, is not a big bad bosses unit, but that's okay, right? He's really, really good. I need to grind his links up at some point. Now, this guy, okay, so this guy, you can actually buy 4 copies of him in the shop, right? So what you want to do, if you don't have this guy, you want to go to a stage. I'm going to fact check this for you guys, but I believe it is 13-8 in the quest mode to get this guy to drop. He just drops as an SR as this guy. I believe it's 13-8. It could be 14. I'm going to fact check for it. I'll put a little graphic on the screen, right? But he drops as an SR, and you're only running it on Z hard, so like the second highest difficulty. If you try to run it on super, it's just going to drop medals for you. Now, you do need a bit of medals to get this guy. This guy formerly was the hardest grind in the game, but Dokkan made it a lot easier. So you have to get this many medals, but you only have to get that one time. You only have to get one round of medals because you can buy this guy from the shop 4 times with incredible gems. I would highly, highly recommend doing that because this grind, otherwise you guys could see how many, that would be very annoying. You essentially have to grind 500 medals, right? That's a lot of medals. That's a lot of medals. So to get just the one copy of him Dokkan Awakened, and then you want to feed in the dupes, right? That is a mistake that I actually made. So I had to grind an extra copy of him at SA 9 to feed it in, right? So get this guy. He is a guaranteed drop on that stage. You just straight up, you always get him. And then if you want, I wouldn't recommend using your boost feature, but you could if you needed to grind it a little quicker or whatever. And then you can get a second copy of him per run. But anyway, it's really not that bad as it used to be. So, but he is kind of the hardest one to get, I would say. But this guy, if we go over him quickly, yeah, he lowers defense. I mean, that's not really that good unless you're, you know, massively lowering it or something. So key 4, attack and defense 80% when key is 8 or more. So that means he auto supers, right? And then attack and defense 30% when they're in 3 or more androids on the team. Not really overly useful, right? It's just not. On this particular team, there's not 3 or more androids. He's not really like all that great. You know, even when he first dropped, he was a little bit underwhelming. He came out with that round of units, that the Fierce Battle EZA, if you guys will recall, where 7 units got their EZA. This guy was one of them, right? So, but that guy, just make sure you know, as I said, do it the way I described it and you won't have any trouble, right? So, the last guy, Int Raditz. This is, I think, not the newest. Well, is he the newest one? I don't remember. Anyway, this guy's pretty solid. His event, all of their events will come back on Christmas Day. So I don't know if they are still up currently. We'll check at the end of this video. But quickly, let's just go over Raditz. So he's an AoE. That's not really too relevant in here. This guy's pretty solid, right? So he does lower the enemy's attack and defense when facing 2 or more enemies. Attack and defense 80% at the start of turn. Yeah, okay, and then key 6, attack and defense 60%, and then he lowers attack and defense when facing 2 or more. Again, that second part of his passive is just not going to be relevant at all because we're only up against 1 enemy. So real quick, let's just make sure the events are there. Let's go to event. Might as well. I mean, we've come this far, right? So if we go to, what, challenge, right? Yeah, so here's the Slug EZA. Yep, there's the Wicked Bloodline. Looks like they're all here, right? So all of the Extreme Z areas are here. And then, of course, this is the big one, right? So if you guys do not have him grinded at all, it's really easy. I'm not going to run this stage, but just to kind of show you. So the effect, if you just run Vegeta's family, you can get extra characters and you can get extra medals. So his grind is not really that bad, honestly. And then if we go to the story stages, let's be factual here. Let's make sure we can do it. Yep, here's the Zero Mortals plant. Yeah, they're all here. Yeah, strongest rivals to grind Cooler's SA. Super Android 13 to grind, well, probably to Dokkan Awaken him, right? Yeah, that's what it is, to Dokkan Awaken him. And then there you go, guys. So it looks like all of the events are here. So guys, if you found this video helpful, go ahead and slap a like on it. Let me know if you are ready for Goku's EZA. He's really strong. I would recommend getting him done if it's at all in your power. And consider subscribing if you are new. I love you guys, and thank you for your support. If you have any questions, I know it's kind of a lot to take in, right? But drop them in the comments below, and I will catch all of you in the next one. Later.